All right, good morning, everyone. Go ahead and get started with Coach Traylor. JJ, you can start us off.
Jeff, what were your main takeaways after watching the film of the Army game?
A lot of times when the game's over, I think I've got the game, right in my mind. But when I watched this one, I was wrong. Our defense played very hard. It was not lack of effort. We had some miscommunication in the back end that really cost us. The double pass was a huge play in the game. The four verticals, the miscommunication for a touchdown was a big play in the game. The defensive pass interference on 4th down and 6 was another big play in the game. There were just some plays the quarterback made with his feet and his arm that were really incredible. Army did a fantastic job of keeping some of their offense from us. They didn't show in those first 2 weeks. So some of that stuff our kids were not prepared for, which is on me for not anticipating that a little bit better. Offensively, we were better. We were not good enough, but we were better, especially with a new center, a new right guard, a new right tackle, a new quarterback. But we not executing 3rd down and 1, and then jumping off sides on 4th down and 1 was a critical play in the game. 23-21, could have taken the lead back. We gave up 1 sack the entire ball game. It's the game-winning drive. The dig comes wide open. Eddie's stepping in to throw the dig. Then the special teams, we played really well. Again, that's 3 weeks. We've gotten better. Offensively, we've gotten better 3 weeks in a row. Special teams, we've gotten better 3 weeks in a row. And for the first time, our defense went backwards. And again, I repeat, Army played a perfect ball game. And after I watched the video, 0 penalties, 0 turnovers, ball control, 45 minutes. They played very well, and congratulations to Army. And it'll make us better, but we're not liking the way we feel right now for sure. We're not a 1-2 football team, but like Bill Parcells has said many times, your record is what your record is, and that's what we are right now.
Greg?
Jeff, what was the thought process on how to handle Frank Harris in that game, and what's his outlook for this week?
It's not changed. It'll be day to day, see how he looks. If he's not 100%, he will not play.
Is the consideration on how to handle that any different because Tennessee's a non-conference opponent and they have a pretty potent pass rush that could present some challenges versus if this were the first conference game and the stakes were maybe a little bit higher?
That sounds great, but, there's just no way you're going to keep a kid like Frank Harris off the football field. He's 100%. I mean, 1, he's done too much for the program. 2, he's too good of a player. He's the leader of our team. If he's 100%, you got to let the kid play to get better. I mean, you got centers out there, you got motions, you got shifts, you got receivers. That quarterback involves a lot of people, so you never want to sit a kid that's 100% just to save him for something. You got to get better. And like I've told y'all a million times, this is not the end of the book. This is chapter 4 coming up. Chapter 5 through 12 are the most important chapters of the book. That's where the I don't know what that is. You writers will know that. That's where the best part is, whatever that's called.
Trey Moore as well seemed to hurt his right ankle in this game. What's his status going forward?
It'll be the same as Frank. I mean, if he's not 100%, he will not play.
What did you see from Jamory Robinson picking up a lot of those snaps and getting to play a little bit more than we'd seen in recent weeks?
Played really well. He's one of the Triangle Players of the Week. He had a fantastic game. Brandon Brown had a fantastic ball game. Joe Evans had a fantastic ball game. And Jamory, those 4 guys were our Triangle Players of the Week. And I repeat, man, go back and watch the video. I mean, our kids played hard. They gave unbelievable effort. I thought our D-line got whipped in the ball game. They didn't. They played their tails off. We just couldn't get them off the field. And you're thinking, well, then you must not be playing hard. Some of it was scheme. They outcoached us. We got outcoached. Jeff Monken did a better job than Jeff Traylor.
When you talk about Jamory, what are the biggest ways that you've seen him grow from last year to this year? It seems like he's been off to a pretty good start this season.
Yeah, it's the off the field stuff. He's never on a list anymore. He's got a great attitude at practice. There's no more drama. I said that in the team meeting last night. I'm fearful to brag this much on any human because it seems like it always bites you in the tail right when you do it. But man, I'm just being honest, that's what he's done so far.
At that position, we also saw Nana Anyanwu play against Texas State, and it looked like he might have got injured in that one. Is that a long-term absence, or is he a guy who could be available at that position?
No, he's done for the year. He tore his ACL.
Steven?
Coach, looking ahead this week at Tennessee, what stands out about them and what will y'all have to do to stay with them?
They're just very talented. Josh has done a fantastic job there. He's on his year 3, and they had a big season last year with 11 wins. Their offense plays faster than anybody in the country. I think that's like factual, not one of those Jeff Traylorisms coach talk. I mean, I think that's like actually factual snaps per minute. They're really talented. 2 receivers that are NFL target, projects, 2 running backs that are hard to tackle, a couple offensive linemen that are NFL guys, a quarterback that's an NFL guy. I'd say 5 to 6, NFL guys. Defense, unbelievable crowd coming off a loss, which you never want to play a team after a loss. So it's going to be a rough environment against a good football team. What would be different about 2023, right? The schedule lines up just perfect every week.
Back to you, Greg.
Jeff, to that point you just made there, do you feel like you guys have gotten kind of some rough breaks or the short end of the stick a little bit so far? How do you sum up sort of that atmosphere around the team?
Yeah, it is what it is. And we drew Houston. It's basically a rivalry game now. You got Texas State, which is a rivalry game. You got Army, which was basically a rivalry game just because of Military City, USA. We beat them in Army last year in a very good, highly contested ball game. They had 2 opponents that were, not as physical. They could afford to, really work on us. I think it probably cost them their first game, just to be very honest with you. It just is what it is, Greg. Sometimes it goes that way. It's going to make us better in the long run. Here's the analogy I gave my team, and I know y'all. I even get sick of hearing my stories. I know y'all do, but I remember my sophomore year, geometry. Ella V. Webb was my teacher. I love Miss Webb. I could not believe the answers to the book. Answers to the questions were in the back of the book. Like, nobody told me that. Like, you turn to the back. I don't know if y'all ever had that happen, but like in my math book, the answers were in the very back. Oh, me back as a sophomore in high school, what did I do? I just wrote the answers down. I didn't solve a problem. And I remember Miss Webb called me in after, class one day. I've been making all hundreds. And she explained to me that, she knows that somehow I'm cheating. I'm not showing my. I'm like, what do you mean show the work? Why do I got to show the work? I've got the answers to the test right here. She's like, yeah, you found the answers in the back of the book. Like, you're good for you. But the process is what is more important. To do what you showing me, you understand. That's why the answers are in the back, to help you solve the problem. Well, that's us in life as well. Like, I'm not getting answers to the test I want right now. And it's because the process. We have to trust that process. We got to show our work. We got to be more detailed. We've got to understand things. We are braced on ourselves. But man, I want the answer to the test, right? I don't want to go through the journey. And right now, that happened to be our culture pillow this week. Let's trust the process. And we're just not doing on all 3 phases. Has been different each week, which is why it's so frustrating. We were terrible on special teams our very first week. Second week, we were better. Third week, we were really good on special teams. On offense with the 3 turnovers the very first week. We got better the second week. Then we had the injury. We still played better offensively this third game. And then defense, for the first time the entire season, we went backwards there. So it's just been a very frustrating season so far.
Where are you guys with DeCorian Clark and his process and his recovery?
Still day to day. He's just not quite ready yet, but he looks better every day.
What was the thought process for you guys behind some of the adjustments we saw on the offensive line with Ernesto moving out to tackle and plugging in 2 new pieces?
He's just the best offensive tackle we have right now. Injury to Payne there. We've got injury to Buffalo Crew. So we have an injury with Mekhi Hart. We have an injury with Meach. So, change your center. Risky move. Lopez played well. T. Haynes tried to go. He really couldn't play very much. But Corey did a really good job. He's so excited. He scored his first touchdown. He scored and he ran off the field. And when you it kind of took a while getting back out there. So we just took the delay game. We weren't going to burn a timeout, in that situation. So hopefully they out there. So you never assume anything in my business. We should have worked scoring a touchdown and then the field goal in practice.
How did you feel about the way that those two guys, Luke and Corey, held up with their opportunity that we hadn't seen them get that chance out there before?
We're frozen.
Looks like we're back.
Oh, there you go, Brother Greg. Sorry.
I don't know if you heard my question. I was asking just more about Luke and Corey, just kind of how they held up getting that opportunity for the first time, what you saw from those two individually.
They were okay. They were okay. There were some spots, we took a shot down the field, and we didn't slide the protection. There was a couple. They played pretty well overall. We just got to be better. I mean, the 3rd and 1, that really hurt, not picking that pressure up front, and then the 4th and 1, that. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it. Yeah, we jumped off sides. I mean, can't imagine why our whole offensive line jumped off sides at one time, and we didn't snap the ball. Man, I can't imagine why that might happen.
Obviously, against Tennessee, that's a pretty big challenge for the offensive front. Do you have to do anything differently to maybe help them manage that, or to protect those guys a little bit in any way you can? Yeah,
of course. I mean, you're blocking guys that are just way superior athletically, and they're longer, they're faster, they're bigger. It's just we got to be creative this week. We do. It's you're playing a very far superior opponent as far as their talent, but our guys will compete. They always do. And again, that's the part I want to. One, the sarcasm saying making that because people have taken that out of context now. If you were at the press conference, it was made in humor. It was in jest. I know better than sarcasm at a press conference. I'm very regretful for making that comment because I love my job. I love working here. There are way worse jobs. I had one in Gilmer, Texas, working on the green chain, making $3.25 an hour. 80 hours a week. I've been there. I've had those jobs before too. So I'm very grateful to be the head football coach. Regret that. But the biggest takeaway, again, our kids played very hard. He represented the triangle. And I'm apologetic for those two things. I did not think that when the game was over, so I was a little bit more emotional than I should have been. And the sarcasm of making that comment, I regret.
JJ?
Jeff, what's your evaluation of the offense in week 3?
A work in progress still. It's been well documented. Not having Frank all season, we thought he'd play his way in, and he did. Like, he was playing really well at Texas State, and then the turf toe. So now we got to regroup. We've got to figure out some stuff. And then losing Mackay. They're all excuses, JJ. But when you lose your quarterback, you lose your best offensive lineman, your best wide receiver's not playing. Now your best outside linebacker's not playing. It's just adding up to a lot of things right now. But we are getting better each week. Nobody likes to be 1-2, but pull back and watch the video, and we are better each week. On special teams, tremendously better than when the season started. Offensively, we are better. We're still not playing good enough to win the game, which is unfortunate, but we're playing better. Defensively, we just took a big step back. We looked in week 3 on defense, but Army had so much to do with it. Like in the Houston game, it was us. It was just literally us, right? In the Army game, it was Army 90% of the time. We had a couple of miscommunications in the back end that really hurt us. So it's if it were so easy, JJ, it would be. If it were that easy, everybody would do it. It's hard. We just got to figure it out. We're close. And we've won, 90% of these close ball games or whatever it is. It's a high number, and we've lost 2 now that were one possession ball games that we're used to winning.
Greg?
Jeff, I was curious as the way the running back rotation played out in this game. Did Kavorian Barnes' fumble impact the number of snaps he played or how you managed that rotation at all?
Yes, it did. We got to get that fixed. And there's not a better kid on our team than Kavorian Barnes, but the ball's got to be chinned. It's got to be chinned. I mean, as long as I've coached running backs a long time, and it's fundamentals, right? Your wrist has to be above the ball. Your ball has to be above the elbow. I mean, chin the football, and that's the second time he hasn't. So Rocco and Robert got a little more. We play on all three anyway, so that's not different. And the way Army was keeping the ball from us, every possession became like, it was you could feel it. If you're in the stands, you could feel it. If you really love football and watch it the way I know you guys do, you could feel it where you were sitting as well. That one, and that's not Kavorian's fault, right? That's not his fault. They had the ball 45 minutes. He made a turnover, but it's compounded because he did it the week before in a 4-minute, in an important part of the game. He's also the back that ran the game out, and he went back in the game. We did not put him on the bench, and he had a great block for Josh Cephas when they went empty. And Eddie made a great job on a zero check and getting the ball out there, and he made a really good block on that. Kavorian's a great human being. He will bounce back. He's a wonderful kid. As soon as the game's over, it reminded me of Houston 2 years ago when Trey Moore texted me as soon as the game's over. Kavorian was the exact same way. He texted me as soon as the ball game's over, tell me how terribly he felt. He'll get it fixed.
I believe he only fumbled once all of last season. Is he doing something different, or are teams coming after it more, or is there a reason it's been different through these two games?
No, like I told him and our team, it's called BIJ, ball in jeopardy. And anytime we have any photo, sometimes you guys even have them. Like I'll see them maybe on a website, maybe like in a newspaper. We'll clip it. And the balls are when it's not chinned, it's BIJ, and when in trouble, double. So he is getting some bad luck. Or some of our guys, like how many times have you seen Frank running with the ball in one hand? If you could catch him, you knock that ball out. Most people can't catch Frank. Well, it's always the guy you don't see. And again, it was their sound that he couldn't see. So it's in most fumbles, it's always the guy you don't see. Because when you see the guy, you do chin it. You do, when in trouble, you double. But when you don't see him, that's when you're in jeopardy. Once ball in jeopardy, BIJ.
What did you see from Martavius French in this game that allowed him to lead the team in tackles?
Effort. The kid keeps getting better each week. Really proud of Martavius. They motioned the back out, and they went and cracked our Sam, and our cornerback missed the tackle. And Martavius, that was the linebacker's man that had an MA that busted. And he outran that linebacker and made the tackle on the far sideline, which is just an unbelievable play. Excuse me.
How do you think he'll be impacted by the opportunity to go play his old team this week?
I'm sure he'll be excited. Thank you, Kyle. I'm sure he'll be excited. And I'm looking forward to it for Martavius. He's really matured, and he's coming along like Jamori has as far as his maturity off the field.
Is there anything he can offer because of that experience, whether it's tactically about Tennessee or just talking to the guys about the environment, maybe anything like that you can pull this week?
Yeah, that's pretty much everybody in college football right now. We're all sharing each other's rosters. So there's coaches who knows what everybody's telling each other. But yeah, we'll get some information from Martavius, but who doesn't nowadays? This thing is so, the transfer portal with coaches and players, we've all got somebody on somebody's staff that knows everything about everybody.
We talked about the running backs. We got to see Robert Henry score his first touchdown at UTSA. What were your thoughts on that play and just generally his development and what that moment meant for him?
Excited for Robert. His first touchdown. He was a triangle winner as well. He made a critical mistake not getting out of bounds on a 2-minute drive. He'll learn from that. He's got great hands. Rocco, about 8 yards of carry. The things that people don't really talk about is the protection he picked up when he picked up the sound backer, having to come across on the long touchdown that Eddie Lee threw to McEwen. That was a great play by Rocco. He was a triangle winner as well. Ernesto was a triangle winner up front, as was Vinley. He played a really good ball game. And then Tyke Kellogg, what a catch he made before halftime. And his blocking on the perimeter was fantastic. Cephas played a really good ball game. We played. It's unbelievable how many guys we had play well. I mean, here's another one for you. LBJ, our linebacker. He played really well. Number 43 on the kickoff team. He was a Triangle Award winner. Who else was? Xavier Spencer, a really good ball game on special teams. He was a Triangle Award winner. And Lucas Dean, he finally showed back up, flipped the field on a huge punt. So we had a lot of guys that really stepped up that need to be bragged on. Because when you lose, sometimes all that gets lost in the shuffle.
Did I hear you mention on the radio last week that there was an injury situation with Lucas that he was kind of recovering from heading into this year? What's the situation with him?
Yeah, unbelievable. He had a fractured right leg early in the spring, and then his left leg was fractured later in the summer. So he was in a boot, almost like Frank. So we're going to get better because we're going to keep getting better if we can stay healthy.
Was there some event or moment that led to that, or was it like a stress injury for him? How does that happen?
I don't know. I'm about to make a policy that kickers and punters don't lift weights anymore. It might be my new policy. We might go back to the old school where I'm not even going to say it. But, back in the day, they just smoked cigarettes and drank beers. All the kickers and punters did. But I know you can't do that anymore in America. We can't do any of that fun stuff anymore.
I don't think Hunter Duplessis would have let you get away with that policy.
No, all those kickers and punters, they work their tails off, and our strength staff does a fantastic job. I'm having fun again. I should know better with sarcasm. This will be probably on Football Scoop now that Coach Traylor is recommending all kickers and punters. I regret that. Can I take that back, JJ? Can you cut that, JJ, from just cut it, please? That 40 seconds, do away with it, please. It was a joke. Man. It's a joke. It was a joke.
Do a PSA about smoking too. That's no good as well.
I know. It was a joke, literally.
Anything else for Coach Traylor? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jeff.
Sorry, man. We know we let y'all down. It was a huge loss. Our fan base was fantastic. Again, they brought it the entire night. And, my team is shocked at some of the vitriol stuff being said about them right now. But I explained to them that it's just passion. You have a fan base that's very passionate. We let them down. We did not do our jobs. And we're very sorry for that. And we will bounce back. I don't know if that's going to look like with wins and losses, but we've got a better football team than 1 and 2, and we'll be back. Thank y'all. God bless. Birds up.